Hello YouTube, welcome back to the Drifter Saloon. Ven Corbin here with the next featured superstar. This review will have the B word in it, I believe twice in two different reviews, so if you don't like swearing, I believe both Retro and Sapper use the B word for Eric's last name. But I will be saying it as they say it, so be aware of that. Anyways, jumping into it, just want to throw out there, we have a couple people who could not, of course, make it, and that's kind of why I have so many different people on here, is that in the event that others can't do a review that weekend, it's no stress. Typically, as long as I can get about 7 different scores, I will always try to put out this video. In the event that I don't get 7, I may need to reach out to the community or do something else. If you want to be a part of this, just let me know. You can reach me on Discord if you're interested in that. So this review is for Eric Bischoff, the NWO executive. He is a coach that does blast gems, so he increases blast gem damage, and he is a striker from the Ruthless Aggression era. Of course, before we get into these reviews, please do not harass any of the content creators and or volunteers who assist with these videos. Please remember that this is a for fun project, that we try to tier out these characters ahead of time so you can kind of know if you should level them or not. I appreciate everybody who is supportive of this topic and this conversation and supports these videos. Thank you so much for watching and subscribing and liking these videos. You folks are absolutely amazing. Now, we're going to jump into it with the first review that I got. No 2Bob, no Benny, but shoutouts to 2Bob. He was the first person to get all the people correct on the last video who did not join in for the review. 2Bob and Benny did not give a review. BPG, Big Papa Gaming, says he hits hard, but requires his gear and 2 rare coaches to really be effective. And if you watch a couple of the reviews, you'll see what BPG means by the rare coaches. David E says, in my opinion, he doesn't hit as hard as Montez does with purple gems, which is disappointing. Cool that he has a color sub that feeds his stun move. Feels like he takes too long to put down opponents. I don't feel like he capitalizes on his mobile gems enough. This is all based on strapless gameplay. David E is a fantastic content creator on YouTube. Definitely check him out. He does a lot of reviews and stuff like, or previews for characters. And the previews that he does, strapless and stuff like that with coaches and trainers that are a little bit easier to get. So. Nothing from DJ Anon this week, and Godflow says, I don't know a lot about it and I'm too sleep deprived to look now. Nothing popped off on the paper, but I plan to take the card into the lab and attempting to find his hidden viability. So if you're a part of the Nerds Lab, definitely keep an eye out for Godflow doing some testing there, and maybe perhaps you'll see something hidden with Eric Bischoff. Nothing from Goldie this week. J-Man says, yes, this card gets the job done, but I'm not overly impressed. In terms of the overall striker class, he doesn't cut it to the top. Omos, Apex, Apex Orton, Seth, Alpha, Macho King, Hall of Fame Dusty are all way better options. The stun lock is safe and effective, but slow, and nobody wants to feud that way. Very true, I agree with that. His other builds require gear, and damage output isn't impressive compared to other strikers. You'll also have to put up with the horrible board shuffle screech sound from the immobile gems. I can't deal with it. Several of his move animations are very slow as well. Even with the gear, this card doesn't make the cut to go 5-star for me. Also, the coaching ability is very situational and really only helps guys like Sika. So this is Ven chiming in. I'm going to say a couple things on there. One, I play with the sound off, so I don't actually know what the horrifying screech is, but I've heard Goldie and J-Man both mention now this immobile gem screech. So if you've heard it, let me know if it's horrible. Is it as bad as people make it sound? And then 2, I agree. The coaching ability, one thing that would have saved this card from the amount of strikers that exist in the game that are so good that we've gotten recently would have been if he had a better coaching ability, and he doesn't. Eric is kind of stifled in that way. So competing against other top-tier strikers and other coaches that are much better, I don't see this card really being something to be too proud of. But G comes in and says, Gerson comes in and says, the stun build is pretty strong, but the other builds pretty much require you to have the gear to be worth it. He does have 1 gear, so I forgot to show that, and I will do so now. Immobile gems do 175% more damage if you have the additional gear, which is a lot of output, but not enough to really make a difference. Nothing from Iron Sheik this week. Merrick's comes in and says, coachability is kind of meh. He is the best Ruthless Aggression striker without gear. About 1 mil damage, turn 1, not bad, but just not needed for anything. I'd be happy to get him, but wouldn't build him. And I agree. I actually have Striker Sean built up a little bit for my Ruthless Aggression striker, and I don't know. I feel like Ruthless Aggression Strikers are just bad in general. That's Ven speaking, not Merrick's. So as Ven, I have Striker Sean built, and I just don't... I don't know. I don't see either of these guys being very good. Ruthless Aggression is just really difficult. Alright, and the last two reviews both have the B word in them, so if you don't want to hear that, just skip along and you'll be able to skip that. So he says, Retro says, Eric Bischoff, no thanks. Thank you, Scopely, for the weekend off. Hit 7.5 million score for faction points, and chilled, as for me, can't see where I'd want to get the card past the feud event. As a card, the pick of Eazy-E is the worst. As a trainer coach, meh. So glad I didn't pull him from the bag, as if I only had one. I want it to be someone good, not... He means if he only gets one bag pull, he doesn't want it to be Eric Bischoff. He would have preferred it to be, like, you know, someone better. Watched a couple of previews over the couple days just so I could review, as I never watched the whole thing. Nothing against the content creator, just hate this pick for the card. I rank him a 1 for the first part of the review, and the fact that at least he made Ninja E. So the 1 is for gear. Without it, it's my second 0 ever. So Retro did give him a 0, however, for the sake of the way that the scores work, I can't put a 0 into the system without it breaking. So I pumped up Retro's score to a 1, so... Let's pretend like Retro... Everybody pretty much agrees that this character only goes up by 1 score. So if someone gave him, like, a 1, for example, he's a 2. And Gerson, I know, is another individual who gave him a certain score and said he would be probably 1 better if he had the gear. So that's pretty much it. The 1 gear makes him, like, 1 score better, but not game king. Retro also did give a score, something separate. I'm going to pull up my Discord real quick. I thought that was kind of funny. Retro said, for this one event, the amount of complaints I hear due to one move crashing the game as an a-hole I loved. For the event part, I want to give it a 10 for breaking the game. So, I guess apparently one of the moves just absolutely broke the game, and that's hilarious. Alright, so Sapper comes in and says, Eric Bischoff looks fun to play. He's a great poster for tours and blisses, but other than that, he isn't very impressive. Slow for showdown and feud, even with gear. A true collectible poster. And I love that line. So, Sapper, if you watch this review, I think that I'm going to steal that for future videos. A true collectible poster is exactly what I would call a couple different... Like, Hall of Fame Chic would have been a collectible poster. You know, Eric Bischoff, a collectible poster. Very good. I love that term right there. Nothing from Zinker this week, which rounds out all of our reviews. So I can bring this up now. Bong. All right. So here's all the reviews. We have an 8, 7, 6.5, 7, 6.5, 7.5, 1, 7.5, and 6. If we take out retros, which is of course like way away from everything else. I'm actually the retro score of the week, putting me at 6. I watched all the reviews all the way through. I do not think, if I got Eric, I would have been so mad, other than the points would have been nice for the solo event, but I didn't want this card. I did not think that I would use him. I didn't want to have him, so Ven Corbin's review here, I gave him a 6. I don't think I would give him a 7 for a gear. I think he's just a solid 6. This character is not something I would wanted to play. It's nothing against the mobile gems or strikers. It's just the way that they built Eric is just not how I would have expected somebody of his caliber. I like NWO, and even more so when I can actually spell it correctly on my sheet. So without retro score in there, he's a 7.25, which puts him at a tier 2. I am going to put retro score back in because that is what he gave him, which knocks it down to 6.5. Either way, he's a tier 2 character. He's not a tier 1.5. He's not a tier 1 character. This is, what, 8 people, 9 people, 10 people who all are in general agreement. Like, if you look at the scores, they're all around the same area saying that he's about a tier 2. But that being said, I appreciate all of you supporting the Saloon. If you want to check me out more, definitely check out other videos I have on this channel and on twitch.tv/VenCorbin. You can hang out with me live as I'm trying to grow the numbers over there to maybe even do partners someday. So we have a lot of stuff we're doing over in the Saloon, both on Twitch and on YouTube. If you have any criticisms, feel free to throw them my way. I would love to, fix this up if someone has some ideas. But that's going to be that. Until I see you, make sure to be safe, and of course, take it easy.